Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving deep into a topic that resonates with the many of us. The complex feelings we have towards our parents. We'll explore the pursuit of love and approval from our parents and how these emotions shape our relationships and our sense of self. Inspired by the wisdom of Mark Goulston and some others, let's uncover how we navigate these intricate dynamics. Let's start with loving and judging our parents. I know judging sounds a bit harsh, but hear me out. Oscar Wilde once said, "Children begin by loving their parents. As they grow older, they judge them. Sometimes they forgive them." This quote perfectly captures the evolution of our feelings towards our parents. As children, we see our parents as infallible. But as we grow, we start to see their flaws and the complexities of their personalities. This journey often leads to a point where forgiveness becomes crucial for our emotional well-being. Let's look at a story of a realization. Let me share a story about one of Mark Goulston's patients that perfectly illustrates this complex relationship. This patient had finally told her mother that she was seeing a therapist. Her mother's reaction was dismissive, assuming the therapist would try to convince her daughter that she hated her. But the patient replied, "No, Mom, I knew that going in, he's trying to convince me that I love you." This exchange highlights the conflicting emotions many of us feel. On one hand, there is the resentment and anger towards our parents, and on the other, a deep-seated need for their love and approval. So what about those struggles do we face? Almost everyone who seeks therapy deals with some form of conflict with their parents. These conflicts spill over into our relationships with spouses, children, colleagues, and friends. Some of us feel deprived of parental love and approval, while others feel misunderstood or controlled. Now, some of us experience indifference from our parents, leading to feelings of resentment. All these emotions often leave us feeling guilty for not appreciating our parents' sacrifices. Now, as time passes, the anxiety about these unresolved issues grows. We find ourselves stuck in a cycle of seeking something our parents might never be able to give. Now, this pursuit can lead to self-defeating behaviors, creating even more tension and frustration in our daily life. So what's the root of the problem? Our parents' inability to meet our emotional needs often stems from their own upbringing. If they didn't receive love and approval from their parents, it becomes challenging for them to provide it to us. This lack of emotional fulfillment perpetuates a cycle of deprivation. We find ourselves chasing after something our parents are incapable of giving, basing our self-worth on their approval. Now, this leads to resentment and animosity, further straining the relationship. So how do we break this cycle? One way to break this cycle is to become our parents' parent. This means giving them what they never received, essentially becoming our own grandparent. By understanding and addressing their unmet needs, we can create an environment where they might feel safe enough to give us what we need. Let's look at a case study of Carolyn. Carolyn, a 50-year-old woman with a meddlesome mother who disapproved of all her choices. Carolyn felt stuck, wanting to cut her mother off but unable to do so. So she craved unconditional love and acceptance, but her desperate attempts to obtain it only pushed her mother further away. Through therapy, Carolyn realized that her mother, raised during the Depression, had felt neglected by her hardworking parents. This neglect led her mother to overcompensate by trying to control Carolyn's life. Both women had suffered in their own ways. Carolyn from over-control and her mother from neglect. Understanding this, Carolyn couldn't let go of some of her bitterness. She saw her mother's controlling behavior as a misguided attempt to be close. As Carolyn became more receptive, her mother's critical comments ceased and their relationship improved. The last 3 years of her mother's life were far sweeter than the previous 50. So what's the impact of men then? This insight is particularly poignant for men who long to hear their fathers say, "I'm proud of you, son." Those who lacked their father's admiration feel a profound emptiness, while those who had it for long moments that can never be recaptured. Talking about their fathers often bring grown men to tears. Let's look at John's journey. Consider John a successful rock star who spent his life trying to win his father's approval. Despite his achievement, his father never expressed pride. After his father had a stroke, John was called to take care of him. His role reversal softened John's heart. Seeing his father's vulnerability and realizing his father had also been deprived of paternal affection, John found the courage to say, "Nice going, Dad. I'm proud of you." His father's tearful response, "I'm proud of you too. You're a good son," meant more to John than all his accolades. Now, do you have the courage to give? What do we mean by that? Becoming your own grandparent takes courage. It means giving what you need most without any guarantee of receiving it in return. But it might be the best hope for getting the love, pride, and acceptance you've always wanted. At the very least, it can prevent the regret of not having given love because of lingering anger. So what's the conclusion here? Navigating the complex emotions we have towards our parents is no easy task. It requires understanding, empathy, and the courage to give what we might never receive. But by breaking the cycle of deprivation, we can foster healthier, more fulfilling relationships with our parents and in turn with those around us. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, I'm sure it did, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, the journey towards understanding and healing starts with a single step. Take care and see you in the next one.